and welcome back to a brand new video. So we're going to start this video off, give you a bit of an update on the club, the old Central Club in Blackpool. Like I said, it's been a couple of days since we've been down here, so just a bit of an update, and then we'll sort of hit over towards the promenade. I'll just see what's going on this Thursday evening, so come and join me. So the fire actually started on the 21st of June, and around 2:30 up to 8 fire engines ended up turning up, and a lot more turned up in the end as the building was engulfed in flames. And like I said, this one, it was open around 1927, and if you didn't know, it was one of the largest social clubs in the whole of the Northwest. That's nearly 100 years this one has actually been standing. So the imagine amount of memories, these walls once held. So the majority of this now, so it's probably out, they've sort of knocked around sort of 60-70% down, and you can see just at the back the walls are now coming down. I believe when they're halfway down like they are, we're going to have a bit of a look around. The residents on Erdington Street on this side can actually return home, so I'd imagine that'll be a welcoming sight for many. So this is just a bit of a shot down the alley. So you can see it's probably about 3-4 metres, as I mentioned in a previous video, towards the gardens and that wall. And you can see they've taken half of the wall down. There's only a little bit remaining, probably about another sort of 5 or 6 metres. So I'd imagine the residents is probably sort of deemed safe, probably within the next sort of 24, 48 hours, if they're not already returned, to return back. So we're just on Erdington Road. You can see this side where the camera is pointing. This is where they all had to vacate the houses. They was putting up in sort of temporary accommodation. One for all the flames and the smoke. And like I said, just the risk of that possible wall collapsing into the gardens and possibly into the houses themselves. So luckily the other side is all safe, so hopefully they'll all be returning very shortly. So this is just a shot on the side of Erdington Road. You can go down a little bit, but it is blocked off. But this is just the side of the building. See how much is actually left for them to pull down. When we can have a bit better angle from this one. So yeah, I'd say probably looks more this side. Probably has about 10-12 metres left of the actual side of the building. Just speaking to a local on the other side. Those evacuated just for 24 hours, but the other side of Erdington Road, they are now back in the houses. So they've still got a little work, but like I said, it's 2 weeks on Saturday since this awful fire engulfed the building. So, I suppose in one respect, the houses, when they do return, when they was asked to leave the area, the site was basically this building, when they just look out the window. But I'd imagine now, as we just sort of venture on a little further down onto Kent Road, when they return home, they're going to see a whole new surrounding out the back windows. And looks like they'll be able to see the tower, and right over. That's a bit of a change of a view. That's like moving into a new house, possibly. With the change of the scenery. So this is, like I said, a shot straight down Kent Road. You see all that brickwork and rubble still on the pavement, and I believe some of the pavement is damaged. So I'd imagine that'll probably have to get repaired. Some of it is quite sharp, but like I said, from this angle, it's gonna be a totally new view for a lot of people. But yeah, like I said, this is the latest on a Thursday evening for this Central Club. So again, just another slightly different angle, and you can see all the windows now of those terrace houses on Erdington Road. And before, like I said, they're just looking at the back of this building, but now they can look right out. They can see the tower once it's all down, right into the car park. So like I said, their view from the window, like I said, when they eventually do go home, it's going to be changed forever. So I just popped over to Bonny Street, Chapel Street, the courts and the police station, and it looks like, I mean, I've been here for a bit, to be fair, and it just seems a lot more open, a lot more brighter. And the reason being, you can see they've taken all of the side off now, and the bridge, what they took down a few weeks ago, that has now been gone. That's gone. So all around the actual police station, it's just the police station itself, really, what is left. So, like I say, it's been a while since I've done any videos on the demolition, rather than just sort of pop in for a quick 5 minutes. But there's a lot happened with this one, and I believe there's the machine is coming down tomorrow, Friday, so that's going to be an interesting one. Hopefully we'll be able to capture that coming in. So we're just going to walk back on ourselves up Bonny Street, and this is where the bridge, and just see how much light it seems to be. Now the bridge is gone and the court's gone. Everything just seems to be so much lighter. So it just shows how much the buildings were blocking the natural light out. And it's just, we walk past the number 13 Bonny Street. That's a famous little pub, and I always like the character on that one. So yeah, like I said, this is Bonny Street, just walking up. We'll have a last look. I'd imagine, like I said, with if the sources are correct, the machine comes down on Friday. They possibly might be starting work next week on the actual police station itself. And the landscape has definitely changed from up the top. So if you remember on some of the previous videos, just to the right of the police station, there's huge mounds of that rubble, and the Fox's company have been busy over the last few weeks removing all of that. And just look at the ground, how it's all clear. You can see there's some piles of the rubble whilst where we've been taking the remainder of the car park out. But look at it changed. Incredible. And just a bit of shot of the King Edward pub. You can see the King Edward pub right on the corner, and you got the central car park just to the left. But just behind the central car park is those flats, and the demolition team are in there clearing everything out. I think most of it is gone now. They did remove part of the extension, but most of that inside, shall I say, is now gone. And it's a 6-week project apparently, working on the rear of that building on the King Edward pub, just on Chapel Street corner. And what a absolutely fantastic view that is, just overlooking the beach and the tower, and the blue sky is amazing. And if you're at a bit of a loose end this weekend, there is the Blackpool Carnival, and that's going to be going on. I'll pop the link in the description if you are interested. You are in the area and you're thinking of something to do, or you're from the area, that's an absolute great event. But what a picture that is. And as the tide just starts to swirl around this last part of the beach. So we just headed onto the beach itself, and sometimes you've got to be very careful when you are filming and walking and enjoying yourselves, because the tide, it can whip in so quickly around you. And it's always nice just to have a bit of a walk though along the beach. It's not long before all of this does get covered up. And myself and Daily Vlog Adventures, we did a great video the other day and went to a Bowies Lodge hotel, did a bit of a hotel review, met Tony, the owner, really nice chap, and I think Daily Vlogs is going to be popping it on his channel, so I'll put the link in the description. So if you are, or you do have pets and you think, oh, I can't come on holiday, I'm restricted and it's going to cost you an absolute fortune in kennels, well, this hotel, you can bring your bird, your fluffy animals, your scaly animals, and he actually even babysits them, while you take a bit of time out for yourself in Blackpool. And what a great little place it was. I think, like I said, Daily Vlogs, he's going to be uploading that either tonight or tomorrow, so I'll give you the link when he does put it up. But you can just see the beach is a little deserted, like I said, probably because high tide is coming in. You can just see it creeping over. But like I say, it's always nice just to get a bit of the beach in and the sea. We just popped over to the north side of Blackpool and we're just near King Edward Avenue, and you can see the Cliffs Hotel directly in front, and there's a huge space which is here. Nothing has been built since, and there was a huge fire and it was all dated back to April 2023, and it was absolutely awful. And so these like I said, this space, it was used to be the old Hackett's Hotel. Who remembers that one on the promenade towards the north side, just past the Gin roundabout, and that went on for many days. It was an awful fire. So we'll just move a little further down King Edward Avenue, and there was many fires at the Hackett's Hotel back in 2020. There's all sorts, there's reported suspicions of arson and all sorts, and it finally gave way, like I said, a couple of years ago. And there's another hotel. This was rumoured back in 2021 to become a halfway house, and looks like the rumours were just rumours, because 4 years later the hotel is still boarded up and nothing has been done with it. And that's the Moorland Hotel on King Edward Avenue. Like I said, there was all sorts of rumours and concerns with that one, but obviously they was just rumours. So we're gonna have a bit of a venture down this little snicket, this little alleyway, and head over to the right at the bottom of Dixon Road, because there's a little shop right on the corner, and it used to be you used to sell beds and all sorts of furniture, and that is it's been empty for quite a long time, and it's actually been getting a lot of work. And you can just see straight down the alleyway, you can see Blackpool Tower. So no matter where you go around Blackpool, the tower appears all around us basically. And you've got the Savoy garage also this way, and some huge hotels, including the Savoy, the Cliffs, along this way. And one of the famous ones is the Gin pub in this area. Has changed over the years. So as we venture, like I said, further down, I just want to show you this little shop. It's always nice, when like businesses, shops, hotels, houses, they get a new lease of life rather than just laying dormant. So let me know, like I said, if you ever stayed around this side of Blackpool, the north side, just to the north of the Gin roundabout. You can just see the pub is becoming more visible as we approach. So directly in front is the Savoy Hotel, and it looks a little tired, the Savoy Hotel, from this angle. You can see those lovely canopies, if you want to call them canopies, where they probably used to greet you at one time. And just see how all the paint is flicked on. One is actually painted green and the other is painted blue, so it just looks a little tired. But there is also some sort of great little hotels along here. The Southley Hotel, the Brayside, the Craigmore. There's all sorts of wonderful little treasures up this side. So like I said, we'll have a bit of a dart down this way, and there's a huge car park here. Well, you know, when I say huge, it is a big car park, and you get all the coaches, all the caravans staying. There's electric points, and when there's events on, you see a lot of them and do stay here. So like I said, we'll whip the camera around again. I'm making you probably be a little bit dizzy, but there's the Gin, the pub situated right on the corner. So this is the Gin pub. We'll have a bit of a closer look, and I'll just show you this. Like I said, this little shop. So this is the Gin pub. First of all, let me know if you ever stayed here, had a bit of a drink on this one. That'll be a great one, you know. Overlooking the sea. You see, you've got got a great little menu, little balcony. Like I said, just overlooking, and this one just on the corner. This one is not been open for many years, so we'll have a closer look. And this one, like I said, used to be a bed. You sell furniture, beds and all sorts. And it's a shame, like I said, the sign. Let's even have a bit of a closer look at the sign. It's always great when you do reveal, you know, what the old shops used to be. So sadly, the fascia has been removed, and you see the huge pile of boards. I'd imagine that's come off the old signs. I imagine, you know, wonder what this shop used to be many years ago. You know, back in the days, I'd imagine it would be an absolute prime location. Like I said, right on the Gin roundabout. So that is the end of today's video, and just thought I'd show you the go-kart track. The sea is getting a little choppy, nothing like it has been. And it's like there's like a beach ball or something in the water down there, just being tossed around, and just hear the ambulance in the distance there. So I hope you'd enjoy this video. Like I said, bit of a different one, bit of an update on what's going on in the demolition. And just before we do end the video, what a shame about all the Colosseums. You can just see this is where the hole in the wall cafe is located, and wouldn't it be wonderful if these are all painted and a bit of TLC was put in place. So until next time, take care. Don't forget, hit that subscribe and hit the notification button. Until next time, look after yourselves. It's a bye from me. Bye bye.